Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jeep Journals. Today I want to talk to you about this custom Jackson hand-painted guitar. I'll share a lot more details about the guitar on a separate segment. I found the artist on Reverb and I want to talk more about their artwork in more detail in another segment. In the meantime, this is basically to show this guitar in action and to show the story that it was meant to tell, the tale that it was meant to tell about when I met with the devil, and I hope you enjoy it. Met with the devil, gave me his hand, told me he'd love me as long as he can. At first I avoided each time that he'd ask the simplest question, with you shiny task: have you decided where you want to go? You got quite impatient, said you gotta choose. It's only your spirit that you're gonna lose. My time ran out quickly, couldn't believe, but what I had said, I didn't deceive. Have you decided where you want to go? I said to the devil, I'm staying right here. It's probably better if you disappear. The devil got angry and struck at my head. If I hadn't moved, I'd surely be dead. Have you decided where you want to go? I said, don't you touch me, protected by God. And that young sweet devil just gave me a nod. The devil moved on, she went on her way, and still I'm wary to this very day. Have you decided where you want to go? The devil is tricky, stealing and harm. To show up his beauty is part of her charm. Have you decided where you want to go? Have you decided, do you even know? So, that song is called Have You Decided? And it was played on my custom Jackson using a wireless transmitter that was sent to me quite some time ago. Thank you so much to all of my sponsors who are helping me to get to where I'm going, and to my counterparts who are enjoying this journey with me. And thank you most of all for not getting scared. Some of the imagery that we're going to be seeing in the mainstream all around us, especially this month, is going to have all kinds of scare-related themes. Even this behind me, this pieced together ensemble of guitar grips and the torso that was brought to you by Etsy, and basically even myself here, standing here right now talking with you about subjects that might be a little bit more difficult to tolerate. If you found in any aspect of your life that you have difficulty tolerating certain things, whether it be imagery or words, ideas, well then this message is for you. And I appreciate that you're here watching this channel and listening to me play up here, knowing that a lot of people are probably watching this, and I actually feel the nervousness because of how just kind of free-spirited that I have been in doing what I'm doing. You know, telling you what I'm telling you is not always easy. And in fact, it makes it so that some people like to contribute what they're feeling on this same page in the comments area, for an example, and we'll have discussions. And this community allows us to have conversations that are quite open and very frank. And right now we have the ability to do those things without a whole lot of concern. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if we couldn't talk about certain things? Like if we said a certain word and it caused such a division that we couldn't talk anymore? I mean, imagine if someone told you that going green was the way to go, and that was the new black. Green is the new black. Being sustainable is the new in thing, you know? Imagine if someone said that less meat was good and they stopped using plastic. And imagine if they tried to convey this information to someone else, and if that very thought caused the trauma, or at least a response, a trigger that somehow touched on a former trauma, and it caused us to be unable to discuss things. Imagine that. If we were at that point, then we wouldn't be discussing what we're discussing right now, which is wellness and conservation. And here you can see I've put on a few extra pounds for the upcoming winter. I'm not sure why, I just know that I have put on weight. And at the same time, I know that I've also gotten stronger. I keep going through my own peaks and valleys just like everyone else is right now. However, having met with the adversary in the past, I definitely was able to learn quite a bit more, and I was able to learn that I could have very well have learned from other people's lessons without having to go through my own meeting with the devil situations over and over. And we'll encounter those devils in our life over and over because that's our challenge. Each of us is walking our own journey, being presented with our own challenges that we might be struggling with, that we might be looking for insight from someone else for, that we might be discussing things with, or wishing that we could discuss things with someone who has had that experience. Oftentimes though, the way that we're paired together to have these conversations is quite comical. As an example, just for my own self, in my personal own life, I'm having a situation where it's been very challenging to talk with family, direct family or otherwise. And these challenges have happened because, well, sometimes I like to have fun, maybe drawing something that's not mainstream, or saying something that's not mainstream, or wearing something that's not mainstream. All of these things people can judge us for. I'm definitely being judged for it because the more upfront we are with ourselves, the more people will either be attracted to or repelled by ourselves. And when I say ourselves, there is a duality in all of us. We can either be more aligned with the spiritual side or more aligned with the ego side. And whichever side we choose and whichever side we continue to feed and whichever side that we allow to be expressed is what kind of resonates or exacerbates the being who we are. So when I talk about wellness and conservation and how they go hand in hand, and when I talk about eating food that has a different vibrational frequency, what I'm talking about is basically our overall, our own general, the same old conversation about health, wellness, and conservation. When I talk about coming up here and saying, I met with the devil, he gave me his hand, he told me he'd love me as long as he can. And when I later talk about how the devil, I had to move my head, and if I hadn't moved, I'd surely be dead. And the devil is tricky, he's dealing in harm to show up his beauty as part of her charm. When I talk about these things and how the entity that we're probably all talking about in some format or another can present itself to us over and over in these different renditions that we either accept and or follow, then what I'm talking about is basically how my own life has gone and how I'm able to also present an example of how your life is probably going, even if it's from a different perspective. I think that we're all being faced with whatever it is that we find alluring, whether it's money or power, whether it's, you know, whatever levels of comfort and conveniences that have been bestowed upon us for the duties, the jobs that we're doing, are all something that we're either taking for granted or we're eating and we're consuming it with some kind of joy. We're absolutely thankful for those things. I'm thankful for the ability to play music. I'm thankful for the artists who are out there. They're able to still continue updating guitars that otherwise maybe wouldn't have gone into anyone's hands. I'm thankful for all of those things. And it's so exciting to me that basically I wanted to start a new segment after having explored a way of making a decent amount of income. I wanted to explore a way of making money based off of that which I really enjoy, which is music. And so I'm bringing you a different array of products that I want to showcase and tell you, well, this is how this works, this is what I like and don't like about it. This particular guitar, what I really like about it is how fast I can play it. There's something about the dimensions, the diameter of the neck that's just easy to move up and down on. The fret markers are clear. It's fun. It has a toggle so you can switch between different types of sound. I'm not quite sure what you can hear being recorded on this basically an all-in-one component that's telling you the same story that I'm telling you, but I am sure that people are watching, and so again, it's an honor to be able to present this to you. I know that I've been improving as time has gone by in terms of both my recall and when I'm actually singing and whatnot. And so I hope that you continue to experience this journey with me, where I don't just talk about one subject, where I talk all inclusively of all the things that we're all being confronted by. We are all being confronted by a number of blessings, and we're all being confronted by a number of situations that are trying to impact those blessings that we have. And so protecting ourselves is really the main thing that it comes down to when it comes to wellness and conservation. When it comes to everything else, everyone else, we can contribute, we can help one another to respond in more positive ways. We can help each other to respond in ways that are more beneficial to one another. The only thing is, can we have those conversations? And in order to have those conversations, what I've done in my journey is use music to bridge communication in ways that haven't been bridged before. So I know that a lot of you understand what I'm talking about, and I know that some of you have been following for a long time and you've seen the family situations that I've gone through over the course of time, where I keep saying, I'm not trying to point anyone out. I am able to, however, use true factual accounts of what's happening in my life and document it in a way that makes sense, just in case, you know. We're all in a weird boat. We're all either rowing together or we're just basically trying to use an illusion to present to others what it is that we're doing and who we are. My number one concern when it comes to any relationship is, can we have a full discussion that actually includes thoughts of spirituality, includes thoughts that are able to explore words that we ourselves don't necessarily ponder all the time. So whether you're here or across the pond or whatever, thank you for pondering all of this with me. Thanks for joining me on the Jeep Journals. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation of my custom Jackson guitar that helps me to tell a story about when I met with the devil. I want to put together a more complete array of songs. You see I have quite a few guitars just on display behind me. They're not just on display, I use these. I pick them up and I actually play them, and each guitar has a different set of songs maybe that I've tied to them. And the sounds are different, so that helps me to produce unique tunes that I am showcasing in my own videos after having been thwarted in the past, showcasing videos using other people's music. Because of the copyright infringement constraints and challenges, I decided to make my own label, which I did, And basically I'm going to attribute all of my songs to my own label. And that way, if anyone's going to be notified about copyright infringement or paid over it or anything like that, it'll be myself for the work that I've actually put in to share these messages of inspiration. So I hope you're being inspired. I hope you're helping me to realize the dream in a way that infiltrates a segment that maybe hadn't been ready to communicate before, but who probably would have benefited if they communicated a lot sooner. The longer we put these things off, the longer we put off the conversations about what happens next, the longer we put off the conversations about what happens next in our own personal lives with one another, the closer we get to some type of finality. And our time might run out pretty quickly. We might not be able to believe it. And it might be very difficult to say what we mean if we don't mean what we say. So when we have conversations together, this is why it's so important to not agree to disagree. You know, when we have these different iterations of conversation that are talking about the same things that are divisive, it is beneficial to look into each other's eyes and to understand, who are we talking with? You know, who are we? Is it someone who wants to bless us throughout the day? Is it someone who wants to curse us? And my vote is always going to be in favor of peace. And peace is something that we can talk up to. We can talk up to it, and the actions need to reflect the same exact harmony that our talk is saying. So a lot of times it's easy to delineate which one. Well, which side are you on? Peace or not peace? Peace or war? Well, you know, just look. Our actions prove our beings. You can see by the fruit of our minds. You can see by the output of what we do. Is it destructive, or is it just conformist and it doesn't exactly still doesn't take a side. It still doesn't choose a side. It's just like, well, it's safe because we're not breaking the law. You got to think. You really have to think. You really have to strengthen your spirit. And the things that we eat can either strengthen our spirit or our ego. And that's basically the type of stuff that we talk about on this channel. If you have not yet clicked on subscribe, please click subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace, love, and all that old school stuff.